What's good, homies? Welcome back finally to another episode in our South Sydney Rabbitohs rebuild series. So first and foremost, a happy belated new year to everyone checking out the video right now. It's been a while since I uploaded a Rabbitohs rebuild or one of these types of videos. I pretty much just decided to take a little break at the end of the year instead of like forcing myself to get videos out on time and stuff like that. It ended up being a pretty decent month here on YouTube, and with the downtime I ended up just planning for the new year and stuff. But anyway, we're back with the first career video of the year. We're still in the early stages of the season, round 8, Anzac round, and our opponent for today, as you just saw, are the Brisbane Broncos here at home. Alright, so the Brisbane Broncos currently 11th in the league right now, coming off a pretty big win in their last match, finally snapped a 3-game losing streak, and they're looking to go back to back. As for us, we're looking for our 3rd win in a row, coming off that masterful performance against the #1 team in the league, which were the Bulldogs. Not too sure if they're still at the top of the ladder, but we're going to throw a beautiful dummy here with Cody Walker as we crack the line, and Darius Boyd, with a weak attempt at a tackle here, we just race away for the first point of the game. So as we take a look at the replay here, nothing fancy or anything like that, just a straightforward dummy. Manages to get around Alex Glenn untouched, and Darius Boyd doesn't get a hand on him either as he races away to score under the posts. So we're still in the off season of the NRL. We've got like, I think 10 weeks to go till the season starts. I was going to make a video sharing the 2018 team list with everyone else on the fan hub, but it's taken an age to go through all the teams, adding certain players to teams, removing them from their old teams and the feeder club teams just to avoid duplicates. That stuff takes a lot of time, and I'm still going through that as we speak. I'm actually almost finished, so that video should be out in a week and a half or something like that. That's just a little update for those of you waiting on those 2018 rosters. I was actually going to scrap this Rabbitohs season and start completely fresh with updated rosters, but that wouldn't be fair to the Rabbitohs supporters on the channel. Plus I went ham with the recruitment and bought a bunch of new players, which I'm pretty excited about for next season, as we score in the corner here with Aaron Gray. Just a nice bit of I guess ad-lib type of play running on the last here as we draw and pass and get it out to Goodwin, who gets held back after he kicks the ball. But thankfully Aaron Gray, with the chase here, just races past everyone else and dives just before it rolls into touch. A beautiful try there by Aaron Gray. So we take another look at a different angle here. I thought for sure the kick was too deep, but that chase by Gray, it ended up being a pretty clutch grounding with the ball in the end. 31 minutes in, we're up by 10 points with the kick to come by Adam Reynolds as we take the shot from a fairly hard position, and as you can see here, we're unable to add the extras as we keep a 10-point lead. Back in the 32nd minute as we make a meal of it here, and we're going to cough the ball up as we knock it on and give the Broncos the feed to the scrum inside our own half. So inside the 30, they get it out to Boyd to James Roberts, gets around his opposite. He finally gets wrapped up by Cody Walker in a crucial tackle as he powers towards the 10-meter line. Back on the 3rd here, as they shift it out to Herman Esse, one-on-one with Damien Cook here, and he's just going to force his way over the line. They send it up to review the grounding here as it goes up as a no try. But as you can see here, he clearly grounds the ball here for the Broncos' first try of the game, 35 minutes into the match. A crucial try just before halftime. Alright, so we have Ben Hunt here taking the shot at goal from pretty much right in front. There's no way you're going to miss that. He adds the extras and we're going to head into the break with a 4-point lead. Looking at the halftime stats here, it would indicate that it's been a pretty sloppy match, with both teams making 3 errors apiece. The Broncos with 2 penalties conceded. As for the missed tackles and the line breaks, I guess our defense has been okay. We missed 8 tackles from 48 and the Broncos missing 8 from 32. Alright, so back into the action in the second half. We're in the 52nd minute. A beautiful ball to Walker, breaks the line, gets around Boyd, and is finally pulled down just beyond halfway. 3rd tackle. We try and look for a little inside ball to Inglis, who gets crunched in the tackle, loses the ball forward, And it's scooped up by McCulloch here. He's going to race away for the Broncos' second try of the game after a huge hit on Greg Inglis. I think it might have been Corbin Simmons who lined him up and absolutely smashed him. Alright, so we're going to take another look at that try here and take a look at the hit. It was in fact Corbin Sims. Just flattened Greg Inglis there. Bit of a poor option on the run. That's pretty much what would happen majority of the time if you line up your back to go up against the prop forward. As McCulloch finally grounds the ball here, and it's going to be the Broncos tying the game up with the kick to come. As Ben Hunt lines it up, and as you'd expect, he will in fact add the extras. That ends up costing us the game as Hunt scores the final points of the match. Full time here at ANZ Stadium, we fought to the Broncos 12 points to 10, collecting our third loss of the season so far. Looking at the full time match stats here, we ended up making 2 more errors. The Broncos ended up making 3 more, conceding another penalty. And before we jump into the next game, we'll take a look at everyone's individual performances. So here's everyone's stats. You guys already know what the deal is with the voting and all that. Just pause the video if you need more time. We're going to jump right into the next game. Alright, so this next game that we're playing, round 9 at Allianz Stadium. Our opponents are the worst team at the moment in the league, and that's the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles, sitting at 16th. As we look at the ladder here, and with that loss last week, we're still sitting at 4th. The Sea Eagles, however, are coming into this game with 4 losses in a row, and their most recent loss being to the Raiders at GIO Stadium. You'll notice that I didn't show our lineup. That's because we have the same team as last week. And to save time, we're going to jump straight into the action here with Manly in attack. As Wright drops a little inside ball to Tom Trbojevic. Tommy Turbo tries to turn Inglis inside out, but it's well read. He still gets an offload away though to the hooker in Kuroisau, and he's going to get pulled down inside the 30. As they continue to try and throw inside balls, but this time Wright coughs it up, and it's going to be Damien Cook at dummy half. Sent it to Walker, a beautiful short ball to Goodwin, and Goodwin's going to cut inside. He powers through the little ankle tap attempt by Tom Trbojevic as we celebrate and make our way downfield to score under the posts. The first try of the game. A beautiful little try here. A nice pass by Cody Walker. Goodwin still had a lot to do, and thankfully he got past Tom Trbojevic. As we take another look on the replay here. Cody Walker to the left of us, first receiver, takes it to the line, and a beautiful drawing pass. Frees up Goodwin on the outside, and he had just enough speed for him to cut back on the inside of Trbojevic, forcing him to try and ankle tap him, and he just separates himself from the pack. Finally scores under the post for our first points. I think the last time I looked at the People's Choice voting, it was Cody Walker that was up front by a mile. Him and Goodwin on this left side, and Aaron Gray, they've been the bread and butter for our attack this season so far. Unfortunately, both Gray and Goodwin will be departing after the season. A little bit of a spoiler alert for the upcoming transfers video. I did have a chance to re-sign Goodwin, but like I said, we looked elsewhere for talent. Plus, I'm pretty sure he left the Rabbitohs in real life, so I guess that's somewhat realistic. As we send it to Walker once again, this time it's Goodwin with the drawing pass. Gets it out to Gray. Gray with the footwork steps inside Trbojevic, and with Trbojevic offside, we're going to attack the line here with Walker with a little chip and chase, regather, and we're going to score our second try of the game. Great awareness there with the 5/8 as we notice Tom Trbojevic still retreating, trying to get back on side. A perfect time to pop a chip over the top. Alright, so on the replay you can see Trbojevic to the right with his hands up trying to get back on side. And by the time he gets on side, it's too late. We already regathered the ball and we're over the line. A nice little heads up play there by Cody Walker. You just have to be aware for certain situations like players retreating back on side. It's typically after a line break, and if the fullback made the tackle, that's usually the perfect time to try something as we add the extras and go up by 12 points. Alright, so we're back 28 minutes in, up by 12 points. And it's going to be Zane Musgrove taking the tackle on our 40. As we shift it to the right side to Reynolds. Reynolds looking to find the line. And it's going to go out on the full. And we just barely overcooked that. We had a small wind blowing from left to right, but I don't think it will take the ball out. As Manly get it out of the scrum to Tom Trbojevic. And he's going to get pulled down inside our 20. First tackle here, they just look for a settling run through Lewis Brown, and Brown's going to get pulled down on our 10. Second tackle, a little cutout ball to Jake Chaboyevich, and he powers his way to the try line, stopped just before. On the third, another quick ball, or another short ball and it's going to be Adam Fanua Blake, who gets held up in the tackle. Manly just playing it fairly simple, looking to crash over the line. On the fourth, as they shift it out to Frank Winterstein, and he gets a roll going here as he just powers his way over the line for finally Manly's first try of the game. They send it up to check the grounding, but you'll see here he clearly grounds the ball as Frank Winterstein drags, I think that's Sutton, just drags him over the line and with him to score their first points of the game, as they finally get the green lights, and it's Manly on the board of 4 points, and the kick to come by Dylan Walker. So as he lines up the shot, a fairly easy kick, he adds the extras, and it's going to be 12-6. Now unfortunately that ends up being the final points of the match, and we're going to squeak out a victory here, defeating Manly, the last place team, 12 points to 6. The rest of the game was pretty lackluster to say the least. As we take a look at the full-time match stats here, Cody Walker picks up man of the match, and before we jet, we're going to take a look at everyone's individual stats. And if you made it this far into the video, let me know in the comment section down below what the hashtag Odd Squad. As always, drop that like button for more Rugby League Live 4 content, or more content in general. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.
Rolling now, bitch, I'm rolling now. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Hold me down, get to know me now. Bet you really should. Overkill, said you know the deal. Said she know the deal. Call my phone, I could beat it up just like I'm Holyfield. She partying in Vegas, get fucked up in the summer. Go so hard in Miami.